So we've been discussing what is the scene in India. So let's jump a couple of decades ahead, or maybe not a decade, maybe 10 years. Let's put a time frame and see where does Dr. Singh see the future of medicine itself. I'm not talking about just India. Where does healthcare go? Will there be more electronics coming in, more through the mobile phones? That. Let's see if he has any opinions on that. So, Doctor, do you think the new revolution in communication and all that is going to make a substantial difference? Faster delivery of medical care?
Well, it has certainly improved the quality of medical care in a number of areas. Radiology, for instance, we get much better pictures, and even in my own experience from the time that I was a medical postgraduate to the time now, the amount of information we can get about a patient quickly and reasonably cheaply without having to cut him open.
I know, I remember doctors lifting up that old x-ray and peering at it. I can't see a thing. And he says, hairline crack, this, that. So it's almost like he's cooking it up because I don't see anything.
Well,
the quality of imaging is better in all these areas, or only more specific?
Yeah, the imaging has improved tremendously. So it is possible to look at different parts of the body using different techniques and get a much better idea of the diseases and even the absence of disease, which is equally important. So I think that technology has improved the way in which we practice medicine. And on the other hand, it can also be used in communication very effectively, and communicating between doctors, between patients and doctors.
Is that happening? Do doctors, or I know you hold conventions and seminars and all that, but on a day-to-day level, if there is an epidemic of some sort, is there a system where all your doctors can communicate with each other instantly? Are you identified as a number, or is there anything that
No, I don't mean in that sense, but what I'm trying to say is that merely because you have a mobile phone now, and you're seeing a patient and you think this fellow needs surgery and you need an opinion, you take your mobile and ask the surgeon, this is the patient, when can you see him, when can you operate on? All this can be sorted out so quickly nowadays.
Which could be done.
Formerly you would have to send him somewhere and he would be waiting outside and doing this and that. So it is possible to improve the quality of care using modern technology, and to a large extent it is already happening. So, and I see that improving further, maybe not in all areas of medicine.
So what will be the next rapid development you see in using electronics? Is there anything there, like I said about remotely diagnosing disease or a problem with the patient? Will that ever happen where you can actually say, go to so-and-so center, there's a scanner there, sit there, let me just see this, turn around, do that, almost like remote sensing?
Yeah, to some extent that's happening in our hospital, where we have what is called telemedicine. And patients do come from all over the country to see the doctors in the hospital in Chennai. So what we have found is that instead of getting the patient to come back for review, he can actually go to a telemedicine center and sit there and talk to the doctor about how he's feeling and so on.
So you can update yourself on his condition?
His condition.
So having him come over.
Yeah. Having said that, I'm slightly uncomfortable with that because it's difficult to assess a patient at long distance. Just
you can't get him say, stick your tongue out and say,
exactly.
That had to be done like the old ways.
Yes, no, you can't. Well, you can do that, but you can't see much of his mouth, sitting so far away. So I think there are some limitations there, and I feel a lot more comfortable if the patient is actually accompanied by a local physician with whom you can communicate and find out more details about the patient's condition.
So I don't want to ask you, an outright dangerous question like how good are Indian doctors compared with others. But what do you think if you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is super, 1 is rubbish, where do you think we guys are on average, our graduates who are coming out of medical school, when compared to someone else? Good.
Well, that again is a kind of Pandora's box.
Yes, I realize
that. Medical graduates are not of uniform standard in our country.
Why is that so? We get engineers who call themselves engineers. We got various professions.
What about teachers? Are they all uniformly good?
No, well, they're not. I don't know whether they learn to be teachers. They're actually graduates who then take teaching as a profession. So maybe
then there will be difference in what they graduated from and how. But anyway, to answer your question, the medical universities have certain standards for passing for even selecting candidates.
Yeah.
And maybe 30, 40 years ago, there was a kind of uniform standard more or less established by the Medical Council of India, which all the medical schools, which are all mainly government sponsored, followed. But since then, there has been a mushrooming of a number of private medical colleges with their own deemed universities and so on, where the standards cannot be uniformly maintained because there's not one
authority
body
on the
which
top.
can actually oversee. In theory, maybe there is a body. The Medical Council of India is still in charge of all the medical schools and so on. But at the moment, we find that there is quite a bit of variation in the standards of graduates who come out of one medical school and another.
So is that a good development, or you think that's a rotten thing to happen? Well, why did they do it in the first place? I mean, if they had a working system where standards were good, or at least if not good, if not great, was good. But now,
market forces, I would think, because there was a big demand for medical graduates, and
so private industry rushed in to fill up all those.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's where the money play came in, and then merit went out of the window.
Well, I wouldn't say as far as that.
Yeah.
I think there are some private medical colleges
took a little backseat, let's say,
which are extremely good, and they turn out very high standard of graduates.
One last thing, just like they say, India is the BPO center of the world, and answer everything in English to different people in different parts of the world. Do you think we'll ever be able to provide specialized healthcare because we are cheap, or whatever? Why, I don't know why people come to India for medical treatment, but they do. I've seen reports in the papers and magazines about British people coming in. So,
well, there are a few who are waiting for surgery, and for a variety of reasons in their own country they're not able to get that. Transplantation, for instance, because organs are very scarce in other countries. Not scarce, but the number of people who want to be transplanted is huge in other countries compared to ours. And therefore, they come here so that the organs
they can jump the queue
and
get a new tire.
So transplantation is one place area where we are providing.
Is it that just because we have a larger population, more organs are available or donated by people?
Well, that's one thing. I don't think we have, on a population basis, we have a huge number of organs, but the number of people willing to accept the organs, in the sense, the number of people who are teed up for receiving the transplant is not that great yet. Here. It may be that the systems will change in the future, in which case you will find that people from India itself are more in number, and therefore they would still be in a queue from abroad. The other areas are simple surgery like hernia or other complex orthopedic procedures for which there is a big waiting list in their own country.
So they would come over here for...
They would be able to come and get access to very high quality.
So do you see a pretty good future for our medical people? I mean, doctors, and do you think that they'll earn substantially more in the years to come, or is that now going to be huge churning, and all the fees will drop, and revenues will drop, and earnings will drop as more and more come out into the market?
Well, in theory, it can progress, but you have to understand that it's purely a private enterprise. It's a business proposition, and private hospitals and private doctors are trying to promote that in order to make more money. There's no harm in that. But if it were to divert medical care from Indian healthcare into providing healthcare for other people, I would think it's a bad idea. And I think it probably will not happen that way, because I think the money will be invested for providing a medical service which will be in parallel
and which is required here in the first place. It will be like depriving our own people of good medical care.
Well, if that were to happen, then it would be very unfortunate, but I don't think it's happening at the moment.
So then, folks, that's it. We've run out of time. I'm going to keep talking on the subject for days and days. But overall, Dr. Raj sounds optimistic about the way things are going. He sees vast improvements and faster delivery of healthcare. And as he says or confesses that he has seen physically that things have improved over the last 10, 20 years, at least since he's gone into medicine. So that augurs well for us. So that's it. Thank you, Doctor, for being with us.
Thank you, Mother. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.